We are Dennis and Min. Come join us on our traveling adventures around the world. Hey everyone. So we are going to get right into the 10 cruise ship hacks when on a budget. Now, as I mentioned in a previous video, Min and I have taken quite a few cruises in these last few years. All over the world, some for as little as 10, 12 days, some as long as 6 weeks. So by no means are we the cruising experts, but having taken quite a few cruises, we've learned some things along the way that we thought we might pass along to you. And hopefully these might help you guys in the future when you are taking a cruise on a budget. So number one cruise ship hack when on a budget would be don't pay full price for the photo packages. Now again, as a disclaimer, not everybody that takes a cruise is gonna be on a budget. If you have an unlimited budget and you wanna spend a lot of money on cruises, by all means, you're in a position to do that, great, God bless you. If you are not, as we are, we're a little bit conscious, but we really love to travel, and by staying on a budget, that's how we make it all work. So having said that, these photo packages that are typically offered on cruise ships will allow you to typically have a free sitting where a photographer will take a variety of pictures. In our case, we took 65 pictures. And after 1 or 2 days, they will be developed, and then you can sit down again and review those pictures. And they have all different types of packages and plans where they will frame them for you, like beautiful frames. They can do canvas, wraparound, you name it. And they can even ship them to your home, so that way you don't have to be carrying around these large frames on your travels. So we asked for what's the entire package to get all the photos with the frames and all that. And we quickly learned that it was about $3,000 for the entire photo package, like the top tier, right? So after we got up from the floor and dusted ourselves off after hearing that, then we started to negotiate. And the gal was absolutely wonderful. We'll probably post some of the photos from our shoot here. And we were really happy with the result, but we were on a budget. So we ended up getting just a flash drive with all the photos that she took, and we were able to do that for $200. We thought that was very fair. Maybe some of you might thought that's a lot of money to put pictures on a flash drive, but after having found out it was going to be $3,000 for the whole package, $200 felt pretty good. And again, we were really happy with the results. And so again, if you want to negotiate with the photo packages there, you can certainly do so, as we did. And for the number two cruise ship hack when on a budget, don't feel like you have to pay for the ship excursions. They can be very expensive. At the same time, we also believe you get what you pay for. And if you really want to be pampered and not have to worry about any details at all, ship excursions to land are a great option. But you do pay a premium for that. As soon as you step off the ship, they will have your transportation waiting in the form of a bus or something else. Sometimes these will include a nice lunch at a restaurant or a buffet and take you everywhere you need to go for that excursion. There'll be the tour guides and all of that. Now, granted, most every place that you pull into port, they will offer their own tours that you can just book direct online, as we did. And so just keep that in mind, that you can also just plan these excursions on your own, and the cost will be a lot less. But keep in mind that you might have to take your own transportation from the cruise port to where the excursion begins, which could be maybe a half hour, an hour away. So oftentimes there will be public transportation or taxis from the cruise port, but just look for that. Make sure ahead of time you know how to get from the port to where your excursion tour begins. The number 3 cruise ship hack when on a budget would be when on a cruise, meet other people, and that way you can share the cost of these shore excursions and or transportation with. For example, Min and I travel typically as a couple. There's two of us, and you will find it so easy to meet other people on a cruise ship. So whether it's at the pool, at a bar, over dinner, at the buffet, there's just so many opportunities to meet other couples. And for us, like once we kind of connect with another couple, we know they're traveling just together, then we naturally will ask them what their plans are, what if they have any excursions planned out, and they might turn us on to something that we weren't aware of that we should definitely check out at the next port or the port after that, and vice versa. So this exchange of information is really helpful. And at the same time, you can ask them if, how they're getting around. And for us, we've actually rented cars just for the day. So we would have the freedom to travel and go see the sites in that particular town or city or port. And of course, if you're renting a car, then you can go ahead and fit 2 more people in there. And then automatically you're able to split the cost of the rental car in half. Same thing if you're going to an excursion that you booked yourself online ahead of time, and maybe you have to take a 20, 30-minute taxi ride to get there. Again, the 4 of you can split the cost of that taxi or Uber or Lyft or Grab, whatever the transportation is. And that will also help you to offset your cost. But then at the same time, you're having an opportunity to bond with another couple, both on and off the ship. So that's a pretty cool thing. And just in doing that, we've made some very strong friendships with people on these cruises. And had we not reached out and traveled with them in this way off the ship, we might not have, come as close as we did throughout the course of the cruise. And then we found out that, hey, this is a fun couple. They like doing similar things. And then we would make plans for, 2 or 3 days later when we're going to be pulling into the next port and do something as well with them. And again, all of that is a way to offset your cost when you're going on these excursions. Okay, number 4 cruise ship hack on a budget: drinks. Some of your cruise packages will include a drink package where you're able to get basic drinks for free. When I say basic, that would mean like no premium cocktails, for example. So they'll have a classic beverage plan or a standard beverage plan where you get wine, beer, and your lower grade alcohol, cocktails, and of course tea, coffee. And then with the upgraded drink packages, you can get premium coffee and teas, and there's no additional cost for certain types of cocktails, for example. If you're on a budget and you did not get a cruise that has a drink package included, you might want to just set yourself a daily budget, because if you were to take advantage of a drink package when you're already on the cruise ship, you're going to see all these people drinking. And if you're part Irish like me, you're going to be like, well, I'm kind of thirsty now looking at all these people having a good time with a drink in hand. It's going to cost maybe up to or well over $100 per day to have a drink package. And I don't know, you got to be a pretty serious drinker to drink that much and break even in a day. That's not me. A couple drinks in a day is just fine for me. But suit yourself. What I found is that when we are traveling and out either at the pool or out at a bar listening to some live music, you make friends with people pretty easily, and in a short amount of time, you ask them where they're from. They're curious to know where you're from, da-da-da-da-da. And I've had people see that I'm paying for my drinks with my card and realizing that I don't have a drink package, and then they offer to buy me the next round on them. Many cruise lines probably don't, allow that to happen. Maybe they turn a blind eye to it, but being part Irish, who am I to turn down a free drink, right? But anyways, it's just a great way to bond. And I've been on a couple of cruises where every time I see these people, they're just like, oh, let's get you a drink. I'm like, no, you don't really. Let's get you a drink. But so anyways, they're just really, really generous and very nice. So you never know who you're going to meet But otherwise, it might be good to set a daily budget on your alcohol, because otherwise, the drinks are going to be similar to what you might be paying at home in the US. So number 5 cruise ship hack on a budget is skip the massages. Again, if you're on an unlimited budget, go ahead and take advantage of the spa. Every cruise ship will have one, and get in that total relax mode and pamper yourself. Great. But do keep in mind a few things that we learned. And by no means are we the cruise ship experts, but again, we're just sharing our experiences. And one thing that we found is that the massage therapists on these cruise lines are not necessarily licensed, so like you might be accustomed to in the US. Now, my wife, Min, she's actually a licensed, and has been for many years, massage therapist. And I got her for her birthday a spa treatment with massage on the cruise. And unfortunately, it wasn't the greatest experience, just because the girl, didn't really know how to give a great massage, much less a good massage. So again, many places around the world do not have the same standards that you're going to find in the US. I'm licensed to do real estate in Hawaii, and also licensed to do insurance in Hawaii. Min is licensed as a massage therapist in Hawaii. There's continuing education courses we have to go through. And in other countries, it's just not that way. So it doesn't mean that they're not as professional, that they're not as experienced. There's not going to be that standard across the board, if that makes any sense. So just know that, especially if you're in any Asian country like Vietnam or Thailand or Malaysia, you are going to be able to get such great massages for a fraction of what you would pay in the US. So again, I can't really speak for other countries and other ports, but those particular countries, as you probably know already, they're very well known for their having numerous massage places everywhere you go, and you might spend $7, $10, $12 for an hour for a great massage. And again, they're probably not licensed. There's no requirements in that country per se, but they certainly have a lot of experience and know what they're doing. And even if it was a terrible massage for $10, don't cry. You could just go find somebody else that maybe has a little bit better technique. So that would be a way to save some money from having to pay those exorbitant prices on the ships. Okay, that leads us to cruise ship hack when on a budget number 6, laundry. Now, we've been on a ship for as long as 6 weeks straight, and it was wonderful. But people think, how do you do your laundry? Now, again, every ship will offer laundry services, and you're going to be paying quite a premium for that as well. And some, after certain length of time, it might be well worth it to have it done every couple of weeks perhaps. But for us personally, we would just wash our own clothes in the bathroom, in the shower, in the sink, and then just hang them up to dry. If you're going to be doing that, you might want to consider a cabin with a window where you can have some natural sunlight come in that would help dry the clothes a little bit quicker. So just a little tip there. But our cabin stewards would just get used to walking in and seeing all of our laundry that's stamped just kind of hanging from here and there. And, I'm sure they see it all the time. And so that wasn't a real big deal for us. Cruise ship hack when on a budget number 7. Repositioning cruises. Some of you might have heard of these before, some of you perhaps not. A repositioning cruise is this. It's when a ship is finished running its cruises in a certain geographical area somewhere in the world, and seasonally they will have to transfer that ship to another part of the world, because then it starts getting popular for cruises say in the summertime. So they'll bounce between, Alaska to the Caribbean to Europe. And so they're always moving around and having to reposition these ships. Another reason they might be moving these ships around is to take them back from the port from where they were built. And that they need to get maintenance. Maybe they get painted. Maybe they're going to get refurbished. So a lot of reasons why they would need to go back to a location that's pretty distant from where they're normally doing their cruises. And so these repositioning cruises, their standpoint, I guess, is we got to get the ship from A to B. Let's go ahead and just fill it with some people, and that can offset the cost of that cruise. So oftentimes those repositioning cruises will be less than a cruise that is not being repositioned. And that's going to lead us to number 8, cruise ship hack when on a budget. Cruise ship hack number 8 would be cruise websites. So there's no shortage of travel websites and websites for cruises. We personally like Vacations to Go, and I'll put a link down below. You can check them out. If you want to get somebody on the phone to get personal service or email, they're very, very responsive, and they'll be your travel agent. You can also talk direct to these cruise lines as well, but Vacations to Go will provide all the cruises for the next at least 2, 3, 4 years out. Every cruise line, every day of the year, again, for several years out. And so you can apply various filters for leaving at specific ports on specific days. If you want to only take a cruise for 21 days or more, only those cruise ships and those cruise lines will show up. So it's a great website. And again, you can get a lot of great personal service. And you can also, what we look at is you can click on the page to find out what the daily rate is of that cruise. And sometimes I've seen these cruises as low as $28 per day per person. Okay, so figure for a couple, that is less than $60. And chances are anywhere you go, you're going to be spending at least $60 just on an accommodation somewhere. And not to mention, all of your meals, all of your drinks are all provided, non-alcoholic, of course, for sure, and being able to travel. So we'll post some pictures here of some of the food, right, that you can get on ships. You can go easily go out to dinner and spend a lot more than $60 just on your dinner, right? So, but it's not just $28. Sometimes it might be $30, $35, $40. So if there's anything under $50, $60 a day, we figure that is cheaper than if we were anywhere on land, and that's a good value for us. And our number 9 cruise ship hack on a budget is taking back-to-back cruises. If you're on a website like Vacations to Go, for example, you're going to notice that there are ships that just start from a certain port, they go around to various other ports, and then they return back to the same port that you left from. And then they'll drop everybody off, most people, and then a whole new set of people will come on board, and then they'll go out for another 7, 10 days, 12 days, and oftentimes it'll be the same ports again and again. Sometimes you'll find that they mix it up a little bit. Maybe there's a couple extra days they've added on, and there's a couple of extra ports. And those I found can also be pretty inexpensive compared to other cruises. So if you don't mind being on the same ship and seeing some of the same ports, I can tell you that it can get a little tiring, especially if you're going day after day after day to a port, a different port, a different port. It's wonderful, exciting. It is tiring though, and you really do look forward to those sea days where you can just have a day to relax. The problem is everybody else on the ship is relaxing too on those sea days. So you're going to find all of the amenities are really crowded. You know, the entertainment everywhere, there's a live music playing, the pool area especially is all going to be a lot more crowded. So we found by taking these back-to-back cruises, because we've already been to some of these ports, we might skip them. Now, granted, there's always stuff you can see on a second or even a third or fourth day that is going to be new and fresh. But if you just want to take a little bit of a break because you were at that one port, say a week and a half ago, you will find that you will be one of the few people on the ship. And that is a great day to have the pool pretty much to yourself. Everything's going to be to yourself. If the buffet was a little crowded during the rush hour peaks of breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you're not going to have that problem at all. Everything's just going to be quieter. And so that is very nice to just take a break from going on an excursion or going off the ship when you're at port and just staying on the ship and then just having a really relaxing time. Okay, and then we're going to go into the number 10 cruise ship hack on a budget. And this is really not so much anything that ties in with your budget, but treat your cabin staff especially well, okay? Now, again, when you go on a cruise, you don't have an option to pay for tips, right? So your tips are gonna be included for everybody that works on that ship, right? It's spread out. But I can tell you, we've been on some cruises where the cabin staff, we get so close to them and they do such a remarkable job, and they aren't doing the work because they love it. I mean, they just love what they do because they love pleasing people, if that makes sense. So it's really encouraging to see people that work so hard, that have every reason to not be so friendly, and yet they are. And we've exchanged contact information with many of our cabin stewards just because we get so close. We get to know about their family. They ask about us, and it's just, you just have this great connection with them. And some we met several years ago. We still stay in touch with them, and it really tells you a lot when we have to leave that ship, and we're gonna miss them, right? It's almost like they've become this extended member of our family, and we're just embracing in a wonderful hug. We don't know them, but we've gotten to know them. And it's just really special to meet people on these cruise ships, especially the staff that are more often than not just so awesome and so friendly. And they really go out of their way to make you feel happy and comfortable and just have a wonderful trip. And they do it. You can just tell. Not everybody, but many of them, they just do it with such love and joy in their hearts. I know some people think, that, the workers on these cruise ships, it's like slave labor, whatever. But, the people that we meet and the people that we see, and there's so many behind the scenes that you don't ever see, they really do, many of them have such a loving heart and really work hard. They have a great work ethic, but just a wonderful gift at being able to connect with people and making them feel special. So I hope you've learned a little something from our travel tips here on ways to save money, being on a budget on these cruise ships in the future. So stay tuned for more fun and adventure.